Folks, happy Valentine's Day. This is the review for your quiz 2 in the third quarter here. So starting down the list, make sure you understand what happiness is. Remember I told you it's the one thing chosen for its own sake. So get that one straight, that nothing else is going to satisfy. Make sure you also know what the word mythos means. I was very specific with my definition for that. You should know something about the goods of the soul, the goods of the body, and external goods. Those three goods, well, three of the four goods that lecturer that you guys took some notes off of talked about. So just make sure you can see in a true and false, a matching or such, what might fit into each of those goods. Okay, so remember again, there's external goods, there's goods of the body, and then there are goods of the mind or the soul. Okay, also know what the word eudaimonia meant in terms of happiness. Oh, and also with those goods that I spoke about, those three goods, make sure you know which ones are more apt to change than others. That was an important part of that man's presentation. So let's see what else we got here. I did give you a list of the Imago Dei and also the secular version. So you should just know which ones go into which column, okay? There'll be a few things that I'll have you match up, but I'll say which ones those are specifically. But make sure you can pick out, if I say here's a couple from the secular understanding of man, that you can identify those. And also, I gave you two different types of freedom: authentic freedom and the secular understanding of freedom. Make sure you understand what the secular understanding of freedom is. And also, remember St. Basil said that if you follow the commandments out of fear, for a reward, or out of love. He said three different things or examples, I guess you can say, he gave, which would result if you loved God or followed the commandments for one of those three things. All right, so you should know what an incarnate person means. You should know that if the secular world understands man as being, let's say, independent, then what would, in the Imago Dei, what would be the opposite of that one? You should also know that man images God on earth in actions of love, gift, in his sexuality and his friendships. Make sure that you keep that in the front of your noggin. And also, I gave you three different understandings of what the secular culture would see as happiness. All right? One of them was contentment. So make sure you know the other two. You should also just be able to pick out a couple things between the priestly and the Enuma Elish. Again, you don't have to memorize them, but you should know, if you see in a list, which ones come from which. Make sure you know the definition for freedom. I told you that is something you will have to know for everything that we do this semester. Genuine freedom is the ability, or it is, to do that which we were designed to do. Make sure you understand that. All right, so you should know what the opposite of being supernaturally oriented is. That comes from the Imago Dei list. The opposite of rational beings. You should know, if we deny man's incarnate nature, what's the opposite of that? The opposite of being contingent on God. Make sure you know those things. Make sure you know the goal of the moral life. All right? If the moral life is goal oriented, then what does that mean? There was a big word there. You just have to recognize it. And let's see, I've already talked to you about St. Basil, so make sure that you know what he referred to if you followed the commandments out of fear or out of love or for reward. Okay, guys, that's it. I don't think there are any, what did I call them? Video exclusives, all right? Little insights. So I hope you do the best on this. God bless you guys. Have a nice evening.